Go.
Hello world, how are you? All that matters to us is that you are well. Thank you for waiting this long. Before we do anything else, boys, can I say one thing?
What's this episode called?
This is called the sixth rule by...
No, rule of six.
Rule of six.
Or rule of DICKS.
Rule by dickheads. But before I go into any kind of anything else, can I please dedicate our episode tonight to my nephew George, whose birthday is today. Can we all say happy birthday to our George? Happy birthday, son. I love you more than life itself. So this is dedicated to you. So ignore all the language that I'm going to use, son. But happy birthday, my little boy.
I love you too, Mitchell.
Jordan Dwayne Turner said, "Who's the newbie on the left? Who's that? Which is the left?"
Oh, you must mean Arel.
Oh, Jordan Dwayne Turner has asked who you are, Arel. Oh, my word.
What?
Controversial.
Who's the newbie on the left?
Oh, my word, controversial.
What do you mean the newbie on the left? No, he thought the TV. He was looking at the TV.
Oh, right there.
Oh, he thought she was here.
No, she's just on the TV.
Fuck, it's the news, though. I was someone new.
He was in tears then, Jordan. He was in tears. Look at
I thought which left? Our left or
we need to comfort Arel. We need to comfort Arel because Jordan Dwayne's just absolutely dissed him. Oh my God! A few shout outs straight away. Hiya Craig.
Yes,
hiya Ian. Hiya Mel. Hiya Jordan. And Ian, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you too. Thanks for keeping the faith. We've had a lot of problems tonight. One being traffic.
Yeah, traffic.
Traffic was a nightmare in London tonight. Number 2, coronavirus. Number 3, Boris Johnson.
Coronavirus!
Well done, you were on the money there, brother.
That's ready.
Coronavirus!
We want to send out a huge love to our brother in arms, Chrissy Darling, who can't be with us tonight. He's in the Seychelles. But if he wasn't in the Seychelles, he'd be with us. He's in the Seychelles tonight.
Hell.
Seychelles. He's in the Seychelles.
Oh, that is how they call it hell right now.
He's in the Seychelles tonight.
What the hell is that? Okay, well, I didn't know that.
He's away in the Seychelles. But we love you, Chrissy.
That is how they call it now, hell. What's he doing in the Seychelles?
Sunbathing, I think.
Sunbathing. Huh.
It's sunbathing in the Seychelles. Can you ask you a favour, folks? Everyone, before we do anything else, can you share this? Click share and click like and show us some love on Facebook. And if you can... What? You're laughing at?
Love.
Show us some love. And before we go on to any kind of news items, hey Gary Bailey, how you doing, brother? Much love to you. Before we do anything else, can we go on to one point? Can we go on to one point before we do anything else? Our fellow...
Sorry, I'm just like sharing stuff, but carry on.
All right. Our fellow Armchair over here, the one that Jordan Dwayne Turner didn't even know who it was.
Left, not my left. It was talking about his left, not our left.
Well, to my left, it's you. Well, to my left, it's Joel, but obviously he didn't mean Joel.
Exactly.
He knows who Joel is. But he's obviously talking about Arel. He doesn't know who Arel is. He doesn't even know who he is.
No. What do you want to talk about?
Our fellow Armchair Anarchist here is running a marathon, right?
He is.
Arel, would you like to take over and explain to the people?
Yes, next month on 4th of October is London Marathon. Not the usual one where it's going to happen in central London. Not the countdown. Not the countdown.
I'm just a bit loud that way.
That's me. There we go. No, but what Arel is doing, carrying on. So it's not the usual one where you're going to central London cheering for every single runner over there. It's going to be a virtual this year. So I signed up for virtual London Marathon 2020 and in support with Children with Cancer UK. Also, there is going to be a link that Joe is going to upload where you can donate towards to the charity. I'm doing what now?
There'll be a link. There
will be a link that I send you on WhatsApp. So
okay. Joe will post a link in a minute.
You can just post it straight onto the comments feed. I do.
If you look on the comments feed in a minute, down below here, you will see the link that you can follow. It's doing it for charity and it's doing it for kids with cancer. Listen, it's not like a guilt trip. It's a serious thing. He's running for kids with cancer. And if you don't donate and sponsor him, you're a cunt. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
You're an horrible bastard and you've got
17 days. I keep
17 days?
Yeah, until the marathon.
That's not many.
17 days. 17 days till the countdown. So yeah, he's doing a very charitable thing by running a marathon for kids with cancer. I'm also going to be having a bedding for kids with cancer.
A bedding?
A bedding, yeah.
A what?
A bedding.
A bedding?
I'm going to be lying in bed for a week for kids with cancer. So you can also sponsor me, but sponsor him first.
Yes.
Jordan Dwayne Turner has said, before we go any further, Jordan Dwayne Turner has said,
yes,
amazing, share the link, and he'll put it on his Snapchat.
And Instagram, yeah.
So well done, nice one, Jordan. Please do that for him. And anyone else, if you can also share that link too. Anyway, moving on. Moving on.
Moving on.
I think... Moving on.
Yes.
Hiya, Jazzy. Jazzy Cole. We love you, Jazzy. How are you, darling? Jazzy is one of the most gorgeous
Nick
women.
Harris.
She's absolutely stunning, Jazzy. You know, if you meet Jazzy...
Jazzy Jeff.
No, you've met Jazzy, Errol. You met Jazzy when you came down to Mel's birthday party.
Yes.
She's that stunning. Yeah. She's beautiful. How are you, Jazzy? We love you.
Oh, not this one. Sorry, wrong Jazzy Jeff.
No, but how did you get that then? They did quick.
Because we talked about it the other week.
God, you're on it, you tonight. But he's on it, this boy, you know. He's on it. He's got Amsterdam next week.
I know.
We're going to lose our producer again.
He's
not really got Amsterdam.
I will have the weight of doing everything next week.
He's not really got Amsterdam. He's going to be behind the scenes doing our programme.
Anyway, let's move on from Amsterdam to United Kingdom.
But I will be filming some funerals. I've done...
Tell us about your... No, before you carry on. So last week, Joel, our producer, wasn't with us because you were filming a funeral. How did that funeral go?
A funeral.
It was
How
great.
did the funeral go, Joel?
It was great. It was really good. It was the 7th funeral that I filmed. And the second one that I've streamed live, live streaming funerals. It's the new thing.
And he does an exclusive executive package, which you can where you can have a battery powered camera placed inside the coffin. When it goes down into the grave, you can watch your loved one decompose.
Exactly.
And you can watch
call this number and you get all the package that you need.
Get in touch with Joel Ryder Media, and he will do anything you need. He can watch your loved one decompose, burn.
Exactly.
You know, I keep forgetting to put a big disclaimer down here that each one of our views is our own, and we don't agree on anything.
You don't need to. That's the whole point of I'm trying to keep.
Exactly.
It's individual points of view.
Agree.
Do you think that these two agree with everything that I say?
Agree to disagree.
They don't agree with everything that I say. In fact, they disagree with most of what I say. But there you go.
Well, what we can do.
Paul Maxman, hello. Also, I just see another one there. Where is it? Nick Harris, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you.
You just see him right now. I just mentioned him.
Have you mentioned Nick Harris?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Have you clicked share, folks? Have you clicked share? Because we're not going any further till you click share. Click share now and show us some love. Click love.
What are you
Give
talking
us some
about?
love.
Clicking love on Facebook.
Right, but what's been happening?
Well, it's all happening, Joel.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. It's all happening.
Sure.
What
It's all
exactly
happening
happened?
because
What happened?
Well, the Queen's leaving Barbados.
Apparently, it's dead loud.
Apparently.
Is it dead loud?
Is it dead loud, folks?
No, it's just Lee. He's naturally loud.
I know, because probably the broadcast is a bit behind with ours, so that's why.
It's got nothing to do with it being loud.
No.
Well, turn your volume down, man.
Yeah. If you don't like it, then do you know what? Fuck off. But share first.
The Queen.
Say hello to your girlfriend.
What?
Why is Errol drinking out of a mug, Kieran?
Prince Philip.
You wish.
Kieran, do you know what? He's drinking out of a mug. You know what? He's got. If you look next to the mug, get that in camera range, right?
No, but that's Kieran's mug. That's what he's asking.
Oh right.
That is his. Oh, sorry. He gave it to me.
Well, Kieran, here's the good news, right? He's been drinking tea with soy milk.
Why is it?
It is hated every minute of it, so don't worry about it, brother.
Oh, sorry. It doesn't say your
Coronavirus!
name. It says UNT.
And he's got coronavirus as well. So.
He's got coronavirus. Yeah,
Who,
which means
me?
we all have. Yeah. Which means
Oh,
we all have.
really?
So, Joe, what were you saying about the Queen then?
Yeah, so apparently Barbados, they are I don't know, making a new law or becoming sovereign. That's the thing.
That's what they're doing, brother.
They're becoming sovereign.
They actually became independent. I think it was in the 60s, but they are now deciding that next year they are removing.
They are throwing off their colonial shackles and removing the Queen as the head of state.
Rightly so.
Unfortunately. What do you mean, rightly so?
Rightly so. Why would the Queen be the head of Barbados state? Other than the fact that a lot of the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean are tax exiles for the United Kingdom. That's the only reason we hold on to them. But
another loss to the Empire.
The Empire that we lost over 100 years ago. But anyway.
Anyway.
Hold on. Thank you, Paul, for sharing it, my brother. Much love to you. I hope you've all else shared it. Thank you, Ian Mitchell, for sharing it too.
I had a little graphic for that, didn't I?
You'll show the graphic then.
I had a little graphic for that. Look at that. That's the Queen in Barbados when she was, I don't know, looks like she's about 20.
I think that was in the early 60s. I think it was 62. I think it was
62.
I think it was 62.
What were the Beatles doing in the 62?
The Beatles hadn't had a hit in 1962. They were still waiting for a record deal. They were playing. Really? They were playing. They hadn't been signed. Or they'd just been signed late 62. But in 1963 they released "Please Please Me." So the Queen didn't exist after that, really.
Oh, it's a shame I didn't have a Beatles little soundbite ready to go then.
Can I get one quick?
Next week.
Next week.
Next week you're not going to be here. What do you want about?
Be filming funerals the week after.
Also, folks, if you disagree with the Queen being removed from Barbados, you see this here.
Yeah. What do you think? Is it? I don't know. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Don't you care? Doesn't it matter?
As long Barbados are able to govern themselves.
Of course they are.
Well, they have been doing for a long time.
The Queen doesn't govern them. She's just, she's just a head of state. She helps to bring in, like publicity.
She doesn't do anything.
Helps the economy.
And she also makes sure that the Virgin Isles, which are just off the coast of Barbados and Caribbean, those UK tax exiles can stay in the UK form. And she doesn't personally, of course. She's just a silly old woman. But phone us if you don't agree with me, because this is the Armchair Anarchists phone. And if you look down below here...
Is it actually on this week?
It's on this week, well, look. And I brought it. Look how good I am this week.
Is it on loud?
It will be. Yeah, it's on loud. So give us a ring on this number below. You'll see it coming up in here. This number here. This number just above Orel's head.
And you can talk to us about anything.
You can talk to us about anything. If you think I'm a dickhead, please tell me. You won't be there first.
Right, move on.
Apparently Daniel Donnelly wants to know what we have all for tea.
What about for my tea? Daniel always wants to know what for my tea.
Hold on. What? Tea is in... Dinner? As in dinner?
No, as in Manchester tea. As in the stuff you have. It's called, dinner.
By the way, this is having a free dairy milk.
A dairy-free milk.
Actually, this cup's awesome. Have you seen this cup, folks?
That is a Romanian word for butter.
So make sure you take.
Actually, it is. Is it?
Take the handle into account.
Hold on. Did you hear that?
Cunt is the name for butter.
No, it doesn't say cunt.
It does say cunt. But look at it again.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't even.
Have a look at this cup. Kieran.
He knows.
I was reading UNT just, not the cunt.
Do you know what? I take a great offence at that, Orel, because he served you tea in that cup.
Well, no, actually, he went into the kitchen.
Or just grabbed it himself.
Grabbed it himself.
Well, UNT, normally it's a Romanian word for butter, but I don't actually read the
And how do you say it? Is it unt or is it unt? Or what? Unt. Right, there you go. Unt. So if you need some butter in Romania, you know where it is now, folks. Anyway, moving on. The Queen's no longer head of state next year in Barbados. But let's move on. We've got so much to talk about this week, folks.
From Barbados to
coronavirus.
Holland. Netherlands.
Holland. Let's talk about Holland for a minute. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the Netherlands.
Where's your little news cheat sheet?
Oh, apparently that is not his mug.
It's on WhatsApp, yeah.
Apparently this is not his mug.
Well, listen, let's talk
about the one with the cunt mug.
Well, that's fascinating.
Let's talk about Amsterdam, folks. Listen, all you that want to go out there for a bit of a quick cheeky spliff or a bit of a brass moment, yeah? I'd rethink, because I'll tell you why. Dutch coronavirus cases have jumped by the highest number on record.
On record, meaning in their country for them during this whole pandemic since the beginning of the year.
On record. The number of new coronavirus infections in the Netherlands increased by 1,542 on Wednesday, the biggest daily jump on record, data from health authorities have showed. The jump followed a record increase of 1,379 on the previous day, and took the total number of confirmed infections in the Netherlands to 86,320, which is a lot for a country of that size.
But do you know how many we had in this country? We had almost 4,000 new infections in the past 24 hours.
A bigger country, though.
Well, what's the population of Netherlands?
I don't know. Let's have a look.
Compared to the population.
Should I Google it?
Can you Google it?
Let's go and Google it. Let's go and Google it. Let's go and Google it. Go on. Population of the Netherlands.
Here we go.
What is it?
It's 17.
Exactly.
Ooh, I didn't realise it would be that low.
It's very, very low.
Ooh.
So that's
my country is bigger than this.
That's a huge.
Comparatively, that's pretty high.
And the population in the UK is 80 million.
Population of the UK, is about 67.
No, 66.5.
Oh, it's 60. Right. So it's like 6 times higher in the UK. But that's a lot in the Netherlands, folks. Let's not kid ourselves. And also this week, man, there's so much news to talk about. We've had a fight tonight, us three. These two have been like kicking off, going, no, we're not talking about that. I've gone, we are. Exactly. But
we didn't have a fight.
Well, obviously, so what's on Science and Tech this week, Joe?
There's people are seeing a strange thing on the screen right now because I'm just trying to bring up the browser. But carry on.
Well, I tell you what.
Carry on. Don't mind
Can
me.
I just say once more?
Don't mind me.
Can I just say once more while we're live? Happy birthday, son, to my nephew George.
by the way.
Happy birthday.
I know.
Happy birthday, son, to our George, from Uncle Lee, and from Joe.
No, this happens to me also all the time.
It's outrageous.
I know.
You
Joel,
see, this is what the cunts do, right? Google all this GDPR stuff. You can't even look at a webpage without signing your life away.
It's a conspiracy, Joe. This is a conspiracy. This is
what you need. 30 seconds of calm.
I'm calm, maybe, bro.
No.
you should need to calm down. Seriously, before, right? I had to
get a rubber crowbar and pry us apart, didn't you?
I had to dose him up. I had to dose him up with ketamine. Honest to God, he's off his head on ketamine right now. Look at him. You don't even know what day it is. Look at him.
Anyway, moving on.
But listen,
has the war ended yet? Which war?
About 30 years ago, but which war?
Yeah, go on.
Let's talk about before we go into the news. Can we talk about a video?
Well, I think we've already gone into the news.
But let's break it up this week. Let's not just do all news. Let's do a bit of uplifting stuff here. Should we do the Muhammad Ali thing?
Muhammad Ali. Now, with everything that's going on, and all the racial controversy and all the big Black Lives Matter movement, which obviously we're all for.
Of course we are.
Absolutely. I've been on a few marches. I know you guys have as well.
Jesus Christ, man. You don't even need to go on a march. You just know that Black Lives Matter, and that's it. You know what I mean? And anyone that thinks otherwise, they're fucking idiots.
Exactly.
I marched. All the way from the kitchen to the bedroom.
But the thing is that Muhammad Ali was on Parkinson. Now, Parkinson was a chat show on British television, on ITV and BBC back in the...
It was the de facto...
Was it from the 70s or the 80s? 70s
and the 80s, and they came back in the 90s for sure. Yeah. But basically, he was at the time drawing in the highest audience rating figure, and he didn't just get glib.
Oh, he got tens of millions.
But he didn't just get glib people, and he got like Orson Welles, and he got he got really key iconic figures on.
So Muhammad Ali at the time was the champion of the world, and he said, Chrissy Darling actually sent us this video where he's talking about race, and every single word of it is so true today as well. But have a listen.
So before you do, think about this, right? Think about if he's using a metaphor for racial inequality. So this guy had won. Before we go on, this guy is talking about a period where he had won the Olympic gold medal boxing against the enemy at the time, which was the communist sort of bloc.
So China, Russia,
Poland at the time too. He was the world champion, and he won the gold medal for America, right? So keep that in mind, and keep the metaphor in mind of racial inequality when he speaks, because what he's doing is speaking in metaphors. He's having a laugh, but he was such an intelligent man and such an iconic.
But he makes it so clear.
Yeah, it does.
It's not. Yeah,
it's a slightly long video, but please watch it, folks, and let us know.
It's only 5 minutes. Just have a look.
And I always ask my mother. I said, "Mother, how come is everything white?" I said, "Why is Jesus white with blonde hair and blue eyes? Why is the Lord's Supper all white men? Angels are white, Pope and the Mary and even the angels." I said, "Mother, when we die, do we go to heaven?" She said, "Naturally, we go to heaven." I said, "Well, what happened to all the black angels when they took the pictures?" I said, "Oh, I know. If the white folks was in heaven too, then the black angels were in the kitchen preparing the milk and honey." I said, "Listen, you quit saying that, boy. I was always curious, and I always wondered why I had to die to go to heaven. Why I couldn't have pretty cars and good money and nice homes now. Why do I have to wait till I die to get milk and honey?" And I said, "Mama, I don't want no milk and honey. I like steaks and I said, milk and honey is a laxative anyway. Did they have a lot of bathrooms in heaven?" So anyway, I was always curious. I always wondered why. You know, Tarzan is the king of the jungle in Africa. He was white. White man. I saw this white man swinging around Africa with a diaper on, hollering, "Oh!" Do you all see Tarzan over here? Right. Tarzan? And all the Africans, so he's beating them up and breaking the lion's jaw. And here's Tarzan talking to the animals, and the Africans been there for centuries, and he can't talk to the animals. Only Tarzan can talk to the animals. I always wondered why. And Miss America was always white. All the beautiful brown women in America, beautiful suntans, beautiful shapes, all tight complexions, but she always was white. And Miss World was always white. And Miss Universe was always white. And then they got some stuff called White House cigars, White Swan soap, King White soap, White Cloud tissue paper, White Rain hair rinse, White Tornado flow wax. Everything was white. And the angel food cake was the white cake, and the devil food cake was the chocolate cake. I said, "Mama, why is everything white?" I always wondered, you know, and the president lived in the White House. And Mary had a little lamb, his feet as white as snow and Snow White. And everything was white. Santa Claus was white. And everything bad was black. The little ugly duckling was the black duck, and the black cat was the bad luck. And if I threaten you, I'm going to blackmail you. I said, "Mama, why don't they call it white mail? They lie too." I was always curious, and this is when I knew something was wrong. Won the Olympic gold medal in Rome, Italy. Olympic champion, the Russian standing right here, and the Pole right here. Is Poland considered a communist country?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm defeating America's so-called threats or enemies. And the flag is going dun 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 dun. I'm standing so proud. Dun 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 dun. And I done whooped the world for America. Dun 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 dun. I took my gold medal, thought I'd invented something. I said, "Man, I know I'm going to get my people freedom there. I'm the champion of the whole world, the Olympic champion. I know I can eat downtown now." And I went downtown that day, had my big old medal on, and went in the restaurants. At that time, black things wasn't integrated. The black folks couldn't eat downtown. And I went downtown, I sat down, and I said, "A cup of coffee, hot dog." The lady said, "We don't serve Negroes." I was so mad. I said, "I don't eat them either. Just give me a couple of hamburgers." You know, I said, "I'm the Olympic gold medal. 3 days ago, I fought for this country in Rome. I won the gold medal, and I'm going to eat." The manager, I heard her tell the manager, and he said, "Well, I'm not the man. Now he's got to go out." Anyway, I didn't raise no honey. They put me out. And I had to leave that restaurant in my hometown where I went to church and served in their Christianity and fought, and Daddy fought in all the wars. Just won the gold medal and couldn't eat downtown. I said, something's wrong. And from then on, I've been a Muslim.
Yes. Seems he was...
So, I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, he told it in such a polite way, but with such a strong, meaningful point.
This guy is one of those kind of people like John Lennon, or like one of those rare people that comes through in the generation. There's very few of them. He refused to serve in the American army because he said, "I'm not going to go and kill some Vietnamese people because I'm more oppressed at home than I am by them. Why would I go and serve in the army?" He was stripped of his world title for that. and he stood firm. An amazing, iconic man. I mean, this is a man that you need, that deserves respect. But most importantly of all, folks, it's like that. That's where we stand. Black Lives Matter. They really, really do. And the fact that you have to say that, to me, is the most appalling thing of all. It really, truly is. The fact that you have to say those words.
Totally.
Because he was an amazing, iconic man. Hard as fuck as well. I wouldn't like to take a fucking right off him, do you know what I mean?
But the movement's working, so keep it up, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let it fucking go out the fucking news cycle, man. But it shouldn't be in the news cycle. It's just... that's the part that fucking frustrates me.
Well, we're forcing politicians to be educated, even though they already know.
Yeah, but listen,
we're forcing them to recognise the issue.
Well, Kamala Harris has been put on the vice presidency ticket for Joe Biden, so there's a good chance that we might see the first. I pray that's the case, because we're going to be doing a special Armchair Anarchists broadcast on election night, aren't we? American election night. The fact that we might see a black vice president in America, to me, is a female black vice president. A lot of people have got like...
there he is, good old Joe.
There he is, Joe Biden. Hey, listen, folks, on the next Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yes.
Next Wednesday is the first presidential election debate. It's going to be car crash television. I can't wait for it. I'll be on fucking line that night.
And there's going to be 3 debates, isn't there?
Yeah, there's going to be 3 there was last time. But I think these ones are going to be hardcore. Because not only that, Trump... I mean, if you believe that Trump is in the stages of early onset dementia, we'll talk about Trump in a bit. In fact, we'll come back to Trump in a bit.
What's next?
Yeah, exactly. Let me go back to the news items. So, in the news items today, what have we got? Well,
next up is the rule of 6.
The rule of 6, ruled by DICKS. Let's talk about the rule of 6, folks. Let's talk about fucking the rule of 6, folks. What are your thoughts on the rule of 6? Give us a ring and let us know. I'll tell you what my thoughts are. Unpoliceable. Nonsense. Nonsense. I'll tell you why it's nonsense, in my opinion. Because excluded from the rule of 6 are...
well, I've got a graphic
fox
here
hunting.
which will show you.
Please show us.
Well, it will show you what the rule means. So 6 people from multiple households from September 14th. Obviously the 1 metre distance. 6 people from multiple households from September 14th. Again, this is all in England, and then you can see Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland.
Bottom line, what Joel's doing here is, this. You can see, can't you, folks? That if you want to get a clear, concise message, it's completely and utterly fucked. It's mind-boggling confusing. But here's the part that isn't confusing for me. Excluded from the rule of 6 is, and I fucking want you to go away and fucking digest this, fox hunting and shooting. Now, how many of you in your working class environment sat there in your houses go fox hunting or shooting pheasants? I know I do every week. Do you?
It just goes to show who the Tories are looking out for, doesn't it?
And also, talking about the Tories, Boris Johnson got his arsehole ripped out this week by none other than the ex-Labour leader Ed Miliband. And I tell you what, he did him fucking proud. He was fucking on point. Boris Johnson couldn't argue back with him. And the arrogance of the man to choose not to argue with him. Have you got the clip here?
Yeah.
Have a look at this clip, folks, and tell us what you think.
If the Prime Minister wants to tell us that there's another part of this bill that I haven't noticed that will deal with this supposed threat of the blockade, I'll give way to him. I'll very happily give way to him and tell me, he can tell us, I'm sure he's read it, I'm sure he knows it, I'm sure he knows it in detail because he's a details man. Come on, tell us what clause protects the threat that he says he's worried about GB to Northern Ireland exports. I give way to him.
Well, the right honourable gentleman can't give way unless he's asked to.
There you have it. He didn't read the protocol, he hasn't read the bill, he doesn't know his stuff. The Prime Minister has said many times he wants to bring unity to the country during his premiership. I therefore congratulate him on having in just 1 short year united his 5 predecessors. Unfortunately, their point of agreement is that he is trashing the reputation of this country and trashing the reputation of his office. This bill speaks of a government, a Prime Minister...
Okay, we're going to leave it there.
Round of applause. Come on, boys. Round of applause.
What, from Ed Miliband?
Ed Miliband, fucking dead right. Ed Miliband is actually doing what Keir Starmer is not doing.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer is being a barrister and is being very passive.
And Boris couldn't answer a single question. He didn't utter a single word.
Well, he didn't read it.
Because Ed Miliband...
He wasn't prepared for the question.
No.
And Miliband called him out because he went into detail about the UK... Folks, just stay with us, boys. The UK is now about to break international law, which means that the Americans, Joe Biden has already stated, and that's Kamala Harris, and as what's her name, who is the head of the Speaker of the House in...
Oh, Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi have said that should the UK break international law, not only will we completely lose any kind of respect internationally, they will have no dealings with us for an international for a trade deal post this. So not only is he jeopardising... I mean, this is just ego gone wild. Also, Ed Miliband...
But he's been having hearings today because, obviously, other politicians are questioning his decisions and judgments.
Fucking Michael Howard!
And he's actually stepping back on a few issues. I'm not sure which ones.
Has come out and five previous Conservative leaders have now come out against Boris Johnson saying, what the fuck is he thinking here? It's bullshit. But Ed Miliband called him out on specific points on the new bill that he's trying to put through and said, and questioned him on them and said, I please answer me. And Boris Johnson sat there and said nothing. He
just sat back like this.
Cunt. Have you got the graphic that I sent you?
And did nothing.
This is what he sat and he thought. He sat and he thought.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll get it.
He sat. I'll tell you. Boris Johnson was sat there out in the House, in the House of Parliament, the House of Commons, and he sat there facing Ed Miliband, and Ed Miliband was ripping him a new arsehole. It's a shame he couldn't do that when he was the head of the fucking Labour Party, which is a shame. But there you go. Boris Johnson was sat there, and do you know what he was thinking about? We'll show you what he was thinking about in a second.
The whole was thinking.
No, he was thinking about. You know what he was thinking about? Because he's such a fat, gormless, fucking twat. He was thinking about this.
Hold on, it's going to take me a second.
It's all right. Stay tuned, folks. By the way, George, I love you. Happy birthday, son. He was thinking about this.
If the Prime Minister wants to tell us that there's another part of this bill that I haven't noticed that will deal with this supposed threat of the blockade, I'll give way to him. I'll very happily give way to him and tell me, he can tell us. I'm sure he's read it. I'm sure he knows it. I'm sure he knows it in detail because he's a details man. Come on, tell us what.
So, yeah, that's what he was thinking about.
He was thinking about kebabs, he was thinking about fried chicken, and he was thinking about the next child he's going to father out of fucking marriage. He's a complete bellend. Take your bow, right, Boris, and fuck off. Please.
Go and lose some weight, another part of the country.
Staying with the Tories, with the Tories, let's talk about the fucking other female fucking nipple called Priti Patel. There's nothing pretty about this woman at all. She's a fucking absolute gooseneck nipple. But, Joel, have you got the...
If your neighbours had a party and there was more than 6 people, would you call the police?
Would you grass on your neighbours? What you're basically being asked to do now, folks, is not only...
but it's a serious issue because of the coronavirus.
Right, coronavirus!
So,
yeah, but are you gonna be in bad relations with your neighbours just because they got ill?
No, there's no dilemma.
Well, do you let people spread the virus even further?
If it's gonna be civil people
killing old people and vulnerable people, or do you knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, what you're doing yourself," or what?
Well, listen, it has to be placed in context. If you've got a party going on of 30 people having a barbecue,
that is.
Then listen, by all means,
yes.
Phone the police.
Yeah.
Right?
But if you have 7 or 8 people...
Or go down and shout at them. But if you've got a family of 7...
exactly, 7
right,
or 8.
Okay.
Are you going to call, there's an extra person on that person's backyard?
Asking the United Kingdom public to grass on their neighbours. We're now moving down to fucking Nazi-level, fucking Gestapo-esque.
Because there are families where they have 8, 9, even 10 members in one household. And they are in the backyard.
But it doesn't make any sense.
A party saying... you see that...
it makes no sense.
No, that's true. That's true. You've got to think about households, how many people are in your household to begin with.
Exactly.
And you can't apply the rule of 6 to that. But
what do you do?
There is an exception, but the thing is that in this interview, which you can see now, is that Priti Patel didn't explain it.
She didn't answer the question. Watch this, folks. Watch this.
the spread of this disease.
What should I do if my neighbour has got a dozen people in the garden having a party? Should I ring the police?
Well, that's your call. That's a personal choice of yours if you want to do that.
What is the government advice?
Well, the government advice is pretty clear. You know, people should not be gathering.
So what should I do if my neighbours are breaking
Well, the choice for you then is you can call...
What's your advice?
Well, you could call the police if you choose to do that.
What would you do?
Well, if I'm rarely at home, but, you know, if I saw something that I thought was inappropriate, then quite frankly, I would effectively call the police, or if it was in a social setting as well. Don't forget, local authorities, licensing authorities...
So you would dob in your neighbour?
Well, it's not about dobbing in neighbours. I think it's all about us taking personal responsibility.
So what would you do if your neighbour was having a big party?
Well, if there was a big party taking place, it would be right to call the police. It is very clear that, you know, government has said gatherings of 30 or more people, anyone that has effectively defined the rules, they will be helping to spread coronavirus. That is not a good thing. And obviously, we all have a role to play. We're all taking personal responsibility. We all have to be conscientious to one another.
So you would be unhappy if your neighbours were breaking the law?
Well, I would be...
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Priti Patel basically being asked a very straightforward question: would you grass on your neighbours? And her refusing point blank to answer that question. I wouldn't grass on my neighbours, and if you grassed on yours, in my opinion, you're an absolute cunt. You're a dirty hanging cunt. But to asking the general public, because there's a lot of people out there that don't have their own minds. They have their minds made up for them by these fucking idiots. This Priti Patel.
10, 12, 15, 20, 30 people, that you can say. But when there's a family house where there are more than 7 people, well, you're going to call the police saying, there's 2 people extra in that person's backyard.
What are you going to do? Are you going to have people going around to all the pubs? I mean, Joel lives in London Bridge, right? So to come to Joel's tonight to do the broadcast, I'd walk past at least 5 pubs here where you've got groups of more than 9 or 10 people sat around. Do I phone the police immediately and go? The bottom line is first and foremost, it's unpoliceable.
In bars and restaurants and all that kind of jazz, you're allowed to, the venue's allowed to have more than 6 people in, but as long as your groups at tables are no larger than 6.
But they are larger than 6, and there you go. This is where the idea.
There's a lot of confusion, and there has been from the start of this thing, not just with the UK, but also the US as well, with the governments in power not giving clear advice.
No clear messaging whatsoever. This has been a shit show, and it doesn't make any sense either. Offices have got gatherings of more than 6. The tubes and the buses have got more than 6 people.
Police says that will cause conflict with your neighbours. As has be through the roof. Indeed, you don't want to have to be in the conflict with your neighbours. Never.
How can you possibly ask the people to grass on people?
Yes, if you hate the neighbours and the neighbours hate you, it's totally different. But when you get along with your neighbours, and you want to get along with your neighbours, no matter what, left or right, even across the road, you don't want to...
It's called, folks, and it's very, very simple, and it really is this. It's called divide and conquer. Exactly. If you get people arguing between themselves on the low level, then they miss the bigger picture that's going on. Brexit, for fuck's sake. Brexit, for fuck's sake. Hide behind your couch, folks, because not only have we got Brexit coming up here, where we're looking like we've got no trade deal, no deal with the... Because what he's done
that means the economy will go.
Completely. Boris has took the biggest gamble here. Forget the fucking referendum. The biggest gamble is to... What he's obviously done here is he has issued a scenario to try and place the EU on the back foot, saying, we're willing to do this. We're going to do it. On the hope that the EU will completely backtrack and accept something. It's impossible. He's completely shafted the Northern Irish up the arse, and it's unpoliceable. It's nonsense. Please, can we revolutionise? Can we just have a revolution tonight? Fucking march on the streets. It's wrong. These people, they're taking the piss.
But let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think, and please, if you don't agree, here's the phone. Right. Ring us. Tell me so.
What's next?
Let's move over the pond, because we've got equal madness going on over there. Because it's like Boris is like the pound shop version of Trump. Do you know what I mean? So this week, Trump has started out. In fact, Joel, show the video first, brother.
Okay, so Trump gave his latest big news interview to ABC News in America, and basically as you know or maybe don't know, that every day, every press conference, everything he says, every other word is a lie. And this is just a short 1 minute 30 video, 1 minute 30
1
second,
minute 30 seconds.
30 second video of somebody fact checking what he did in the ABC News interview.
A socially distanced town hall with some undecided voters sparsely seated throughout the room. They had a chance to ask the president about COVID-19, systemic racism in America, and his pledge to make America great again.
It's going to disappear, George. We're going to get back. We're not going to have studios like this. We have all of this empty space.
The president was asked about the pandemic, spoke about a vaccine, and herd immunity tonight.
It would go away without the vaccine, George, but it's going to go away a lot faster with it. It would go away without the vaccine? Sure, over a period of time. Sure, with time it goes away. And many deaths. And you'll develop herd, like a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen.
The president was also asked about policing in America.
How do you stop police killing blacks at 3 times the rate of killing whites? I can only say this, that the police in this country have done generally a great job.
And the president was asked about his signature slogan, "Make America Great Again."
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America? Are you aware of how tone deaf that comes off to African American community?
Well, I can say this. We have tremendous African American support. You've probably seen it in the polls. You look just prior to this horrible situation coming in from China, when the virus came in, that was probably the highest point, home ownership for the black community.
If you want to take a closer look at what the president said tonight, ABC News has a fact check on his statements, and we have that on our website and News App too, Robbie.
Oh, so the fact check is on the news website, but all those statements he said were wrong.
We're completely factually wrong, but most important of all, Joe, what we know, the guy's so fucking stupid. The Freudian slip he gave away there was, he is obviously going for herd immunity.
Yeah.
As I believe personally that Boris Johnson and his Conservative government are also stealthily going for in this country.
Yeah.
They truly are, because it's. I mean, all these bylines and these rules and regulations. It's nonsense. It's unpoliceable. So they know that. I mean, I'm not. I'm fucking stupid, but they're not. The people in the government aren't stupid, and they know that this is obviously just a way of making it seem that they're being, you know, they're taking care of the UK public, but they're not. They're going for herd immunity. That's what they're going for. It's simple as that.
1 second he's saying that there's going to be a vaccine very soon. This is Trump. And he's saying, obviously, it's going to be just before the election, like a few days before the election on November 3rd.
Which is scary.
It's going to be by the end of October, which is scary, obviously, because he's pushing through. He's coercing the FDA, the CDC, the NIH.
Especially when you take into account what happened, as we said last week, the news item that was last week. The Oxford scientists in the UK, they were leading the way with regards to the vaccine, right? They were in second stages of testing, but then last week it turned out that 2 people had responded to this vaccine.
They had some effects.
They nearly died. It was very, very serious, and they nearly died.
So
which shows
they can rush the vaccine.
You can't rush.
To develop it properly, otherwise you're going to risk the.
And here's the scary thing. It's the scary thing that the Russians at the moment are claiming that they're like less than a week or 2 weeks away from a vaccine. When this vaccine
the Russians
comes,
have already started using the vaccine, and they're still in phase 3 trials.
And when this vaccine comes, what you're going to see is a huge portion, because I mean, I would have been tempted, because I want to see my mum, for fuck's sake, do you know what I mean? And my nephews. People are going to want to take this vaccine because they want to just get back to some kind of normality, as we all do. But the risk lies where you've seen last week, 2 people nearly died because this vaccine showed, even though there's if you take into account there's 1,000 people in trials at the moment, but 2 of them have nearly died.
There's tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Yeah. But 2 of them have nearly died, so it shows quite clearly that they were really excited about this vaccine. It was showing good results on a vast portion of them. But there's still an element of it that isn't safe. Yeah. And America, I imagine, because like Joel just said, because Trump has got the head of the FDA in his pocket, they will rush through a vaccine to try and make.
Well, he keeps firing and replacing the people who have been fired with his people.
With people who agree with him.
People who have donated big money to his campaign. people who are his friends and colleagues. It's ridiculous.
I'll give you an example of how fucking stupid this man is. Joe, have you got that video? So keep in mind that this year we've seen the highest recorded temperature ever in history in Death Valley in America, right? The highest fucking temperature ever recorded.
Yeah, it was about 55 or 56 degrees.
Ridiculous, yeah. And we've now seen California.
There's loads of there's wildfires
on fire
all over California and reaching into Oregon and other surrounding states as well, and also all those hurricanes and tropical storms in the Gulf of Mexico, which affects Louisiana, Texas, New Orleans.
The statistics are that in California itself.
In fact, right now, there's a hurricane, I think it's called Sandy, which is hitting Louisiana, and it's moving so slowly, it's bringing lots of rain, and they've had 2 foot of water today alone.
All of the Americans, all of the scientists in America have quite clearly said that California, especially because it's on the west coast of America.
The governor of California is screaming at the president to do something about climate change, and all that the president can do is.
Science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
Donald Trump's climate denial may not have caused these fires and record floods and record hurricanes, but if he gets a second term, these hellish events will continue to become more common, more devastating, and more deadly. And meanwhile, Donald Trump warns that integration is threatening our suburbs. It's ridiculous. But you know what is actually threatening our suburbs? Wildfires are burning the suburbs in the West. Floods are wiping out suburban neighborhoods in the Midwest. Hurricanes are imperiling suburban life along our coast. If we have 4 more years of Trump's climate denial, how many suburbs will be burned?
Again, if you
how many suburbs?
So you get the idea,
folks. I mean, listen. Take 2 seconds out and just take a deep breath and just listen. That is the head. That is the leader of the free world. He is the man that is the leader of the free world.
Giggling almost and laughing without childish smile that he's got.
Will get cooler.
I think he's got the brain of a child.
Yeah, no, he really has. I mean, it's like talking to a 4 or 5 year old. Those were the people speaking there were governors, scientists, professors, masters of their. They spent their entire life studying a certain topic, such as climate or meteorology, whatever.
Trump is just there laughing, saying it's going to get cooler.
It's going to get cooler. And you know the most horrific thing is that you know that a vast portion of that Rust Belt Americans that worship the Confederate flag are going to be going, it's going to get cooler, it's fine. It's going to
yeah, of course. His base are just eating it all up.
Half of the ice sheet, is it in Iceland?
Greenland.
Greenland has melted. I mean, there's no disputing. Look, folks, we're having a summer. We're having an Indian summer right now. It was 27 degrees today in London, and it's going to be 20 odd degrees throughout this week.
But don't forget, Australia's been on fire. And it's been flooded within the past year.
Yeah.
Right? And now all this stuff in America, and we're seeing weather changes as well.
There's
in this
no question about it.
We're having more floods.
You've seen behavioural change.
More heat.
You've seen behavioural change in insects. I mean, I know this sounds really boring, but you've seen insects such as wasps, bees, flies, nocturnal animals that are completely acting out of their normal habitat. Because it's warm when it's supposed to be cold, and it's cold when it's supposed to be warm. It's fucked. America apparently is warmer, even at its coldest point now, than it has ever been in history. So when it's at its coolest point, it's still a few degrees. I mean, it's indisputable. The evidence is indisputable. But listen, if you're American and you're watching this and you vote for Trump, I despair at you, you fucking bellend. What's wrong with you? I mean, for fuck's sake, are you on fucking... You're obviously on fucking OxyContin or something. Do you know what I mean? You must be just a useless smackhead.
You know, I think now the majority of Americans, well, at least 50 to 55% of
the
them,
polling's showing that Biden is still, but it's getting close again.
Is going to go for Biden. But the thing is that Trump's put so much corruption now into the electoral system in America and the postal system, etc., that it's going to be really hard for anybody to try and beat Trump.
What he has done is very, very simple. He did it but he's done it here. He's already laid the groundwork, right, for him potentially losing the presidency, right?
Yeah.
But then what will happen is
he's going to challenge everything. He's got an army of lawyers.
Well, also there's a key
lawyers
reason.
are already putting in motions through courts in America already.
But the key thing is in America, as opposed to the UK, in America, right, postal votes aren't counted. At the same time as the normal voting system, so they can. As
postal voting is happening now in some states,
but it happened with Gore and Bush. In the UK, postal votes are counted at the same time as the ballots, so you get the result at roughly the same time. In America, there's like a disparage between the point where people actually go and vote and the point where the postal votes come in, which can, at this point, looking like it's going to be over a week later. So what's going to happen is, Trump's basically laid down a statement that says, if I win, cool. If I don't win, it's not cool. And he's already laid down the groundwork to claim that it was corruption in the postal votes. So what he's done is he's laid mistrust in the voting system in America.
But not only the postal votes, he's going to blame the Democrats. In Democratic-run states, he's going to have...
It's going to be disputed.
The Republicans and Democrats are all sending in poll watchers to all these states. They're sending in lawyers. Trump's sending in National Guard and beefing up police and everything.
It's going to be massively disputed.
In some states. And that's going to interact with all the people who are trying to vote.
But what fundamentally what he's done is he's placed the seed of doubt in the entire Constitution of America.
He's placed the seed of doubt.
He's placed the seed of doubt
in the White House, in the presidency of the United States.
In the entire Constitution of America, because the idea of American power is that the transition of power from one government to the next is a peaceful one. But what he's laid the groundwork, as he did last time, he's laid the seed for... the transition of power to be a completely disputed one, where he's going to claim that it was all a con and that it's not true, and the votes, and you're going to see at the very best you're going to see an agreement where it's a landslide. At the very worst, you're going to see Donald Trump asking for recount upon recount upon recount, and then disputing that. Yeah. Or here's one for you folks, and boys, this is only my opinion. You might see a scenario where he resigns. Right, he resigns. I believe I've seen other people come up with this suggestion too. Right. He resigns on the grounds that he doesn't believe it to be a fair and equal campaign, and he then he steps out so that he can historically be seen to be someone that wasn't voted out. He resigned,
and Joe Biden still gets it.
Well, he'll pass it to Pence. To Pence, which, and Jesus Christ, can you imagine that? Fuck me. No, I mean, that is horrific. This man is like Satan incarnate. But there you go. It's a fucking scary, scary place. But on a lighter note.
Yes.
On a lighter note.
What do we have?
We've got this one. It's the world's oldest sperm, boys.
The world's oldest sperm.
And no, it wasn't found on either Arel or Joel's fucking underpants.
Oh, we are not that old. Maybe on you.
Maybe Chrissy Darling.
Did you see that then? Did you see what he said then?
Just about.
You fucking nasty bitch. Oh!
How you think they're gonna find on?
I'm a fucking very fucking. I'm a
we
very.
Are not that old.
Listen, I'm a very desirable daddy. That's how sad it's become these days, folks. But anyway, the world's oldest sperm, not to be found on either Arel, Joel's, or Chrissy Darling's knickers or underpants, has been found.
Yeah.
Perfectly preserved after 100 million. Actually, it's on your underpants, isn't it?
No, it was found in London Fields, I think.
It's been found after 100 million years, and it's gigantic, apparently.
Gigantic.
Can we see a picture of this sperm, Joel?
Well, what I'm going to show you is a picture of the creatures having sex 100 million years ago.
Insects.
And imagine these are the size of elephants,
these insects were covered in amber, and so they were perfectly
This is Jurassic Park.
preserved. This is Jurassic Park. And this is an actual picture of how they were preserved. And you can see there during their
but nothing's changed there. I mean, that could be
intercourse.
That could be the fuck tree on Hampstead Heath, and all it's missing there is basically
he's mounted in the doggy position and
on a branch.
He's going at it on a branch.
On a branch. So anyone that's visited Hampstead Heath, apparently there's a tree called the fuck tree. Apparently
they've been caught up by whatever happened.
Actually, you know what we should do? We should take some fucking scientists down to Hampstead Heath to the fuck tree. I don't believe it exists, but I've heard this mythical. Boys and girls, listen carefully. Apparently, there's this mythical place. I've heard this in gay circles. That there's a tree in Hampstead Heath.
Yeah.
And it's called the fuck tree. And this tree apparently has grown out the ground in a certain way that it's like flat and then goes up. And this flat bit is where gay men go in the dark and just basically wear a mask and put their ass in the air and wait for men to come and have sex with them. Now, I think that this should take scientists down to the fuck tree and do samples on the bark, because I think that you will find sperm older than these two fucking populating fucking microbes. That's just my opinion. But anyway, the sperm was found trapped in amber after 2 ostracods were enveloped by tree resin whilst in the throes of passion. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being coated in fucking amber while you're shagging? Awful. It belonged to an ostracod, which is a class of a small crustacean that has been in existence for 450 million years, boys.
Now, we said this sperm was gigantic, but it's relative. So it's relative to the species.
Based on the fossil record and the behaviour of modern ostracod, the male used their 5th limb. 5th limb. Actually, I've got a 5th limb.
Well, Chrissy's told me many times she's got a 5th limb.
Oh, really?
I've got a 5th limb. I use it when my leg's broken to transfer extraordinarily long and immotile sperm into the female. Why is it immotile? Because apparently you've got to have...
You know what? I've got a picture of Chrissy holding her 5th limb.
That's Chrissy Darling with his 5th limb. So any of you boys out there that were hoping for something special,
I don't know what poor twink that is.
When you answer to Chrissy on Grindr and he talks about his 5th limb, don't think he's coming on and giving you a good time. He's coming on with that. Seriously, you're fucked. Well, actually, yes. I'll not literally, pardon the pun. But anyway, the sperm was enormous too. It was about 4.6 times the length of a female's body.
So of that, spit on you then many times. So of that, the size of the female body, which you can see on the screen right there, is 5 times the length. So
oh my God, it's going to come out of her head.
So where's the sperm coming from the male if it's the 5 times the length of that one as well?
That's going to
basically it's like
girls. I know that you always say
it must curl round at the back or something. And then
does it go around the intestinal tract? Because apparently intestines are a mile long.
It'd be like a lizard's tongue.
I don't think so. They have balls, so
I don't see how it can physically fit inside that small package. 6 times.
But then the sperm's got to evolve into a fetus.
How the name is going to evolve?
God bless that fucking female.
It must kill the female.
Imagine what the size of the baby's like. For fuck's sake.
4.5 times than them.
Well, anyway,
to have more chance of getting pregnant.
Specifically speaking, apparently this is the equivalent to about 23 foot in human size.
So imagine a 5'5" human would produce a 23-foot sperm is the equivalent to the picture you're seeing.
23-foot sperm. Could you imagine ejaculating, boys? Fucking hell! You take out the shard, wouldn't you? In fact, the shard. It'd be like fucking 9/11 on the shard if I had a wank in the toilets next to the shard. If I had a wank there, and I'd be taking out the shard, folks. I'd be fucking done for terrorism. It's true though. I thought we had a quiz.
What? Indeed.
Before you go, bye, folks. Folks, this is a new quick round fire quiz, right? Quick fire quiz, right? Quick fire quiz, and I'm just going to
quick fire quiz.
What we're going to do every week, right? You can't think about it, folks. You can't think about it. You just got to ask questions quickly on the fly, right? And so I'll host the quiz this week, right?
Go on.
Listen, you can gamble everything you've won tonight, lads. 101 or more, 6 darts play for a non-dart player, 3 for the dart player. For what's hiding behind the screen
I've
behind me.
I've not played darts in years.
For what's hiding behind the screen behind me, all right, lads.
What, Joe Biden?
He looks so dead.
Is that what we win?
No. So listen, all right, first question, folks. And listen, the Armchair Anarchists phone is here. And also, Arel's going to be watching the messages. So we're going to give a little slight pause. Number 1 question, right? What year What year did the Beatles break up?
2020.
Don't be so ridiculous. I'm saying
1500.
No, the year they broke up, it must be like 1980 something.
In the core?
Am I in the right decade?
70s. 75.
80s?
91. 2008. Or 1500.
I don't know. You tell us.
1525.
Has anyone replied?
1968
72 or 68.
Who said? Even the public haven't got it right.
No.
What have they said there?
You meet your 72, your mother 68.
Mum, you joke. I'm
69. My mum probably just Googled it.
There you go. She hasn't Googled it.
Oh, she has.
Mum, listen,
She has.
69.
It was 1969, folks. 1969 was the last ever fucking.
They made the 69.
They actually broke up officially in 1970, but they actually broke up in 1969. No, question number 2, and it's just random. Just random questions.
Yeah.
Just random questions.
About the Beatles.
I know.
Random questions. When
you lose
what year was John Lennon killed?
John Lennon.
1970 something.
75.
74.
You better just shut the fuck up now, because you're just going, Muppets, nipples.
76.
I don't know who the hell is
And
John
you can
Lennon.
fucking shut up and all. You don't know who the fuck is John Lennon?
No.
That's a lie for a start off. Yes, you do.
Well, I'll go for 75.
You fancy his wife. 75.
I don't know. I wasn't born in 75.
Folks, have you seen what I'm having to deal with here? They claim. This is all bullshit, by the way. This is just nonsense.
81.
81, is it?
Oof, no, it's not.
1980.
You Major, you don't help me at all.
It was 1980. That's the second question. We've got five questions. All right, question number 3.
Wow.
And they're just random.
Okay.
They're just random.
More Beatles. Yeah, go on.
Which of the Apollo missions
was playing the Beatles.
Had to be curtailed.
He took Beatles on the moon.
Had to be curtailed. Which of the Apollo missions
Had to be curtailed.
to the moon had to be curtailed? Big word there, by the way, folks. I probably don't understand it. Can't even spell it. Neither of them.
Go
Had to be
on.
curtailed, but went to the moon, didn't land, came back.
Apollo 13.
Boom! Joel Ryder got the third question right.
One of the greatest films of all time.
You only know it because of a film, don't you? All right then.
I didn't even
All right,
watch
then.
it.
No?
No,
Stop Tom
probably
Hanks. You should watch it.
All right then. What number was the last Apollo mission to the moon?
Apollo 18. Have a guess. It's higher than 13.
I know it's higher than.
So Apollo 14, maybe.
Arel Morez!
Oh.
It's 1-1, folks. It's a cliffhanger. This is the last question.
Last question. Go on.
Have you got a drum roll?
Kieran just said
We've got a drum roll.
17. I went low. I don't know that was 17.
Right, this has got to be a really random question now. Top of my head, like.
What?
Which of the Beatles said they were bigger than Jesus? And what year? Two questions in one.
Wasn't that Michael Jackson?
Beatles. I said Beatles.
Which of the Beatles claimed
No, it was Joe Cocker.
they were bigger than Christ, and what year did he state it?
No, not Joe Cocker.
I don't have.
Who was the guy out of Pulp?
I don't have no idea who the hell who the names of the Beatles, even the faces. I don't remember that.
No, but it was the one who was married to Yoko.
I don't know who the hell is Yoko first place. So I'm not sure what you're on about. Harrison?
It might be.
He was 17. Google it. I know, Kieran. I just said just like that.
No,
I didn't even know that. But yeah.
Was it George Harrison?
Well,
No,
John Lennon, 64, 65.
Who said 64, 65?
Your mum.
Oh no, mum. You were right on the first one. No, it was John Lennon. So Joel got the first part of it right.
Yeah.
For half a point, folks. What year was it?
64, 65. Is that
66.
66. Actually, my mum is half right and Joe and Orel's half right. He said it in 65, but it came out into the.
I went a bit higher than.
So Joel wins the quiz today, folks. On
what I win?
1.5 points, and Orel was a second with
shut up.
But it is a knock because you know the Beatles are. We'll see you next week, folks. We love you. George, happy birthday, my son. I love you. Please, folks, take care of yourselves and stay happy. We love you.
Thank
bye,
you.
Bye.
Next week we're gonna be 2.